what I could from Saturday.
Yes.
And
Yep.
if you need any VGK cuts, just
Oh, we'll need some VGK. We'll need some VGK. Golden Knights are coming back. When's the season start again? Pretty soon, right? That's pretty quick. What's happening, everybody? Welcome to the mini monologue. I'm in a very good mood today, very festive mood. The first couple days after a loss are really tough. Now, reality sets in. We try to make the best of it. We try to win, and we try to get people excited. Pretty good formula, right? Isn't that the formula? Win, we're excited for a week. Lose, we're pissed off for a few days. But either way, I think it's a pretty good way to do it. If there's a better way to do it, please let me know, and I'll try a better way to do it. There have been some people, friends and other people, who have been asking, again, what are the rules to the show? And the rules to the show, there's two rules to the show. There's the radio show, which I'm doing with Jared today. We have rules like no cursing on the air. No, that's a rule. Here, I am the Bricktator, and my rule is don't talk badly. No, I want to say don't talk badly. Say whatever you want. Just don't be fire the coach. I hate the coach. The owner this. That. If you do that, I'm at the new level of being a Bricktator. I'm now banning people for good. And that is a brickocracy, not a democracy. So let's share the YouTube page. Let's share it. Hit share, and we'll share it on X. And we'll tell everybody to join us. Hey, I got my Yankees on tonight. Yes. All right. Anybody got anything? Bricktator. Bricktator, yes. No, Bricktator, not in potato. Bricktator like in tater tot. Like in tater tots, yes. Yeah, because Big D knows. Big D knows. I like to go to concerts. I like to drink Modelo's. I like to hang out with my wife and sons. Last night I went to dinner at Capo's. Jared, have you ever been to Capo's? No. You've never been to Capo's on Sahara? Oh, my God. The speakeasy with the giant plates of chicken parm and risotto. Oh, my God. The singer comes to the table, a magician, everybody. To us. Yes, it was great. Johnny Katz at 1:30. Lee Sterling at 12:45. And Kevin Bollinger, going to get Kevin up at either 12:30 or 1:05. 12:30 or 1:05. Hey, what would you like me to rant about? What do you want me to rant about? Just go off on right now. That's a cool thing, right? If this was a concert, what do you want me to open with? What song you want me to open it with? Gino? Chip Kelly? Pete? What do you want?
Where they love locals, great food and drink specials, plus all the fun NFL action. Don't miss every Monday with me, live at Silver Sevens, starting at 2 p.m. P.S. First 20 listeners, you get your first beer free.
Don't miss the Rich Eisen Show, following the morning tailgate, weekday mornings at 10, here on Alternative Radio 920 AM, KRLD Las Vegas. It's the JT the Brick Show.
You know, we're going to have a lot of positive energy. The guys that love to compete and play with passion are going to have a chance in the place.
Your Zebra and Black home to sound off for over 25 years.
Man, I'm loving it, man. They're making my job tremendously easy to be out here with these young, talented players, man. I think we have a really good team.
I'm super excited. I'm already loving this fan base. It's going to be a lot of fun. And now, here's JT.
Out of the gate, JT ready to roll today. I love me some Thursday. Closer to the finish line of the week, live from Lotus Broadcasting. Home of Raider Nation Radio, live on YouTube. We're already opened up with the mini monologue. If you sign up for free, you'll get that for free. JT the Brick YT. I asked everybody today, I go, what do you want me to open with? You know, when you go to a concert, you want to hear an opening song. I kind of want to hear the hit. But you know what the problem is? Jared, people aren't in their seat to start a concert. You ever notice that? Some people come in late, they're walking down the aisle for the opening song. So sometimes you don't want to have your best song in the open because people are still at the bar. Also, another side topic. You ever know when you go to these stadium concerts, not Allegiant, of course, but other ones that they don't hire enough people to serve you beer? Like, shouldn't you be able to get a beer and not have to wait on a line with 70 people at a concert and you're paying for it? So I open up every day with the monologue. I put my monologue up against anyone in the history of sports radio. You know why? No notes. I usually focus my monologue like 30 seconds before the show, raw emotion. And a lot of the other guys in my industry need a teleprompter. I don't need a teleprompter. I don't need someone to tell me what to talk about. I'm living my life as a sports fan. Nothing, and I mean nothing matters to me more today than the Yankees. Sorry, nothing matters more to me. My dad's 87 years old. We FaceTime today for a half an hour talking about the Yankees lineup for tonight. That's my priority. Love the Raiders, want them to win, but I'm all in on the Yankees tonight. 5 o'clock start. Yes, I'm moving up my bucket of Modelo's. My bucket of Modelo's on Friday. I'm moving it up to today. My bucket of Modelo's are going to get cracking around 4 o'clock. I told my wife, please put my Modelo's on ice around 4 so they're ready for 5. I can't wait for that game tonight. I'm like a kid. I can't wait for that game. I cannot wait for it. But I got a job to do today on Raider Nation Radio. Some say I'm the Raider therapist. Some call me the Bricktator. Whatever you call me, you know I want the Raiders to win as much as anybody in the world. Because we're on the front line of the Raider Nation. We live it. We live it from the Black Hole to Fremont Street, all the way out to Deep Henderson, to Oakland, California, LA, which on record has more Raider fans than anywhere in the world. Los Angeles, fact, not fiction, and the global Raider Nation. Last night, my sister's cousin was in town. We went to Capo's. If you've never been to Capo's, wow. I go there. I don't go there enough. I should go there more. I went to Capo's last night, like a scene out of Goodfellas. Got a guy singing at the table next to me. True story. He wanted me to sing Sweet Caroline. I said, no. He looked at me. Why? It's a Red Sox song. Get away from me. But then he started singing other songs I liked. What did I have? I had the Vinny alla vodka. What a great pasta dish. There was a magician at the table with magician tricks, and we took a beautiful picture. Jared, at the end, they come to take your picture, and somebody like, no, we're not good with the picture. Took a nice picture. You tipped everybody well. When you walk out, you got to tip everybody, handshake at the door to Tommy, speakeasy. So I had a great night last night, family in town. Then I got up today. We did the stand-ups for Raiders Rundown, a TV show I do every Saturday night on ABC. Pete Carroll, my two-part conversation with Pete Carroll. And this was an interesting week for the coach. Here's why. He really kind of tripped out the Raider Nation. Raider fans weren't used to this. For the first time, Pete Carroll told everybody after a loss, we look pretty good. And everyone's head went. Everyone's head popped in Raider Nation. They said, wait, what? Well, Pete Carroll's been coaching a long time. He saw some good things on tape after the game that he brought to the building on Monday and told everybody, he goes, look, we did a lot of good things well. I'm starting to see the team that he wants to see. And that's the focus of the monologue, brought to you by PTs. They fuel the monologue 5 to 7, midnight to 2, the best happy hour in town. Sometimes, as I said earlier in the week, you could have a really bad day, but there was something good at the end of the day. You come home, you pull into the driveway, all of a sudden you see your dog. And your dog comes up to you like, I got the greatest dog in the world. He doesn't know the mood I'm in. So I come in, my dog jumps on me still. He's happy to see me, and it changes my mood after a Raider loss. So it's a positive. Pete Carroll gave us a positive. Ashton Genty had 3 touchdowns. Max Crosby arguably had one of the greatest games he ever played. If they would have won the game, I would have put it on the Mount Rushmore of Max Crosby's future Hall of Fame career. Mount Rushmore. I would have put it right up there. So that was an issue. And then Raider fans didn't know how to react to that because some Raider fans like to punch walls. Some Raider fans just like to scream and howl in the night. We lost. And I get you. I know you. You're a part of my life. But Pete Carroll told us that he's seeing something. So I talked to a lot of people off the record, a lot of people off the record. And some will say, you can say this on the radio. I say, no, I'd rather keep it off the record. I talked to someone today off the record who told me that this thing that the Raiders are doing now will get them to where they need to be if everybody buys in. Not you, the fans. I'm not talking about us. I'm a fan. If everybody who's in the building buys into this, which is the fundamental culture change to a new culture, and we've had a bunch of cultures. Gruden's culture was really good. Josh McDaniels' culture wasn't, even though he thought it would be good, the Patriot way, right? And then Antonio Pierce, straight out of Compton. His culture was to come in here and just be a badass and play hard, which they did. So all those cultures had a plan and a vision. This one is historically different. This coach is on the status, I'm not saying he's better, but he's in the status of Tom Flores and John Madden. He's a Super Bowl champion. He's in the fraternity. He coached in 2 Super Bowls. Okay, he's coached some of the greatest players. Remember Al Davis's line, the greatest players in the biggest game? Pete Carroll's in that world. So he's different. So you got to buy in. And everybody buys in. High school coaches get their teams to buy in. My kids went to Bishop Gorman. I've never seen a bigger buy-in in my life. Everybody's bought in or get out of the program. We're recruiting the best players in America to play in the biggest games on TV to win national championships. If you're not good enough, you're not going to Bishop Gorman. I don't care who your mommy and daddy are. I don't care if they own a casino or not. We're going to take a player better than you if you're not good enough. That's what Pete's trying to do. He's trying to root out everybody who isn't a great player. He's trying to bring in players that he thinks might be good. If they're not good enough, guess what? They're gone too. And he's trying to figure this thing out. But it's all about the culture. It's about the buy-in. And that's also led by John Spytek. As John Spytek and Tom Brady, their relationship goes back to Michigan as teammates. They want a different look to all of this. And all Pete Carroll told us this week is he saw a glimpse of it. He saw a glimpse of it, and he liked it. I didn't like the loss. The loss was a disaster because they didn't get off a kick that I think Daniel Carlson would have made. But it never should have came down to the kick. It should have came down to going up by 9, because I'm convinced if the Raiders went up by 9, they had 1st and goal at the 7, I'm positive, I bet my 401k, which is a nice one, that the Bears would have scored. I bet my life the Raiders go up by 9, the Bears are going to score, and they're going to cut it to 2 again. Positive. And then what would have happened? The Raiders would have ran out the clock. They would have given it to Ashton. He would have ran out the clock. Geno would have took a knee. Game would have been over. That was the plan. But they didn't execute it. At 1st and goal. 1st and goal at the 7, they went backwards. 2nd and goal at the 7, they went backwards. 3rd and goal, they didn't get in the end zone. They threw it short of the end zone. Me and people are butting heads on this one. I'm hearing people say, well, if he would have caught it, he would have gotten the end zone. No, he wouldn't have. No. He caught it short of the end zone. There was a corner right there pinning him down. So if Dante would have caught the ball and then spun and got a touchdown, amen. But they didn't throw it in the end zone. Big red flag for JT the Brick in the 3rd person. Because did you notice Brock was open in the corner? Geno missed him. Why didn't we throw it to Brock? Why'd we throw it to a rookie who never caught a touchdown in the NFL? Anybody? Bueller? Anybody? Why didn't we run that play to Brock? And if he wasn't open, throw it out of the back of the end zone, settle for 2. Why? Because they thought the play underneath to Dante Thornton was a better call? Okay, if that's the better call, all right. But, it was like back in the day, we had Hunter Renfrow and Darren Waller. And if the quarterback didn't throw it to Hunter Renfrow or Darren Waller, my head popped in the press box. I'm like, what are we doing? We're right at the goal line. We got Darren Waller. He's an NBA power forward. Throw it to him. So it took me a couple of days to get over that. And now I'm over it because Pete Carroll saw everything. And Pete Carroll said, I saw some good. So that's what we're going to talk about the rest of the week, because I was on the radio about a half hour ago with Jake Query. He was on our show yesterday. I was on the show in Indy, and you should have heard them howling. Like all their people, like, oh boy, here comes JT the Brick. And I went on that radio show in Indianapolis, a power flame-throwing radio station. I said, we're going to win the game. They're like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, we're going to win the game. We have no choice. We have to win. You want to say must win, have to win? It's all the same thing. Now, if the Raiders don't win the game, do they still have a plan? Yeah, the plan is the whole culture I've just been talking about for 10 minutes. It's rooted not in root beer floats with the baseball team when it was up in Oakland. This is rooted in the philosophy of Pete Carroll on how to develop a winning team that could win the Super Bowl. This team's not going to win the Super Bowl. Alert, alert. This team's not going to win the Super Bowl. But Pete's trying to build the team that will win the Super Bowl with him here. And what he's doing is he's trying to establish the run. He needs a quarterback who's good like Geno, but Geno's turning it over. He needs stars like Max Crosby and Brock Bowers. He's got to recruit young offensive linemen like they have that aren't ready to probably play yet. And then John Spytek needs another class in a draft to fill the rest of the holes. And then I think they're good to go. I really do. I thought this year they'd be better than they were. They're not that good yet. But by next off season, which I have to talk about if they don't make the playoffs in January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, lucky me. 8 months. 8 months I have to talk about the new draft class next year. And we don't even know where we're drafting. But I really believe with John Spytek, we're one draft class away, and one more free agency class to being a team that will be a perennial playoff team for maybe years to come. And for those who think I'm a homer or that, I could care less. That's what I think this whole thing is about today, from talking to who I talked to today. It's like, who's here? Who are the foundation players that are here? We all seem to know who they are. Who are the other players that are here that can prove they can be on the team next year? I think we know who they are. And then to get the most out of them in a buy-in when they're going through adversity. And ta-da, we're going through adversity. That's it. I just gave you everything you need to know. You can handle it the way you want to handle it. I'd like to hear from you on the game. Now we're at the point on Thursday where we want to hear about the game. So I just want to hear about this game and what you think. 702-365-9200. We really need a win. Badly. I mean, badly, we need a win. I'll go first. Here's what I think needs to happen. The stars need to keep showing out. It seems like Max Crosby is a robot who comes into every game like an animal and has a great game. Check. We need him. He's a star to continue to show out. Had the interception, that's it. Number 2, Ashton Jeanty has arrived. He needs to continue to pop. We can't have a good Ashton game and then a bad Ashton game. We need Ashton Jeanty to get going here. He has to play well. Has to play well because Jonathan Taylor currently leads the NFL in rushing yards with 414. So the stars need to shine. Big point for the next 2 days. We have Jason Horowitz on tomorrow, the voice of the Raiders. The Raiders have to play with the lead. They have to play with the lead. This is not a game where you can be chasing. You got to play with the lead at some point. The Colts have played from behind twice this season, ending with a loss to the Rams and beating the Broncos by 1 point on a fluke because they were trailing in the game. Raiders got to be ahead. The Raiders offense has been down at the half every week except the Bears game. Got to be ahead going into the half. Got to be ahead. We got to have some momentum going in. And we got to get something out of the offensive line again. The offensive line showed a lot of improvement. So they corrected some crucial issues on both sides of the ball, tackling and blocking. They need to build on that. The Colts have a top 10 rushing offense, and they're very good on both sides here. So we have to make sure that that happens. And it's a 10 a.m. Pacific kickoff, which doesn't seem to be a problem. It doesn't seem to be a problem for Pete Carroll, the early kickoff. Like, that seems to be okay with him. They'll travel on Friday. They'll get there. They'll have their body clock going. They'll be ready to go. So that's what I think are the keys to the game. I'd like to hear yours. 702-365-9200. Chip Kelly's going to speak. I really think this is a really interesting spot for Chip. He just won a national championship at the Ohio State. He's been successful as a coordinator before, but this is a really different time for Chip. Here's why. Colt Miller's down. Colt Miller's not playing. Gino's not playing well. Brock Bowers isn't at 100%. Shall I go on? Can I go on? Michael Mayer's coming out of concussion protocol. They're bringing guys up from the practice squad. So Chip, I don't know what he's going to do in this game. Part of me says he's going to want to run the ball with Ashton because Ashton's playing well and run the ball with him. But I told you the other day, I'm kind of like, let Gino go for it. I mean, Gino's on the verge of one or two things happening. Number one, snap out of it. He snaps out of it. All of a sudden, he's not throwing to the other team. He's hitting guys in the seam, and they're scoring points. Or if he has another bad game or two, well, we know what's next. Like, he can't have 5 bad games in a row in the NFL. So part of me is saying, hey, man, let's let Gino go cook. Let's see if Gino can play through this. I think he can. I think you think he can, too. It's kind of like a little bit of bad luck. He's not himself. I don't know. I'm hoping he can snap out of it. He's saying all the right things. So that's what I want to see here. I don't want to see another multiple interception game by Gino. I don't want to see that. I want to see Gino come out here and be positive and have a really good game. But, the emotion I saw last week, remember I told you last week I cared about the body language? Check that box. They were great. I thought they had great body language. They were doing a really nice job, which is important. So there's not a lot of things that I see with this team that I'm losing my mind with, other than the fact the Commanders game, the special teams couldn't tackle. And then the special teams, I think, had the wrong guy out on the perimeter. Jonah Laulu is not supposed to be there. I'm sorry. I don't know why he was there. You need an athletic tight end, Raheem Mostert, someone out there who's an elite athlete that can block someone and step outside and get in the way. So that, to me, was a failure, a very big failure on personnel. I don't know why that happened. Hopefully that will be, air quotes, cleaned up. And then the special team starts playing better. And then from talking to the guys on Indie Radio today, I asked them, I go, what do you think of the Raiders? And they just ripped the crap out of Gino. They're just ripping Gino. And I'm like, well, wait a second. Daniel Jones, that was Daniel Jones for 3 years with New York and the Giants, but not anymore. Here's what's really funny. I hope they're not listening in Indy. They haven't seen any bad Daniel Jones yet. When Daniel Jones goes bad, it's really bad. So we better hope we get a little of that. We better get some of that going because Daniel Jones, his entire career, has given you more bad highlights than good. So it'd be nice if we can get a few here. So the show started 19 minutes ago. I'm waiting for everybody. Remember I said don't open up to Jared with your best song? It feels like today I'm opening up in a coffee house in front of 10 people getting lattes. And I want to open up at Allegiant Stadium in front of 70,000. So let's get moving. 702-365-9200. My buddy Thor is here. He's diehard Raider Nation. And Thor, you give us a lot. Give us, and I got to be quick today, give me a quick key to the game. That's the show today, the key to the victory.
Key to the victory. From the first point. Every single play on offense, I mean urgency. I mean, doing play.
Thank you, Thor. Thank you, Thor. Appreciate that very much, Thor. Thank you. Thank you. I would get a cigar with you today, but I have to be almost alone for the Yankee game. My wife came up with the term, quick story, cranky Yankee. Here's the backstory of cranky Yankee. My dad, I grew up with my dad, and when my dad would lose a Yankee game, he'd walk around the block. So imagine being in the house with me and my two sisters. The Yankees would lose. We always had a dog, and my dad would just take the dog and walk, just leave. He'd be gone for about a half hour. So I started doing that. When we got married 26 years ago, she married into our Yankee family, and I would lose my mind, and she'd just say, go walk around the block. So the neighbors would see me after a Yankee game just walking around the block. And she nicknamed me Cranky Yankee because cranky means I'm cranky to everyone in the house. So she doesn't want Cranky Yankee tonight. She wants a nice win. We need a nice Raider win because, Jared, check out my week. So I said this yesterday, wanted to say this in front of you. In a matter of a week, the United States lost to Europe in the Ryder Cup on my home course where I was born and raised. Big beat. Raiders lost on a blocked field goal 25-24. And the Yankees could lose to my biggest nemesis, the Red Sox. That would be a bad beat. That'd be like going to a video poker machine, putting in $5,000, putting in another $5,000, putting in another $5,000, and having nothing left. So I'm on one of those rolls. I need to get off that roll. I need to get going here. The monologue brought to you by Tito's Handmade Vodka. My go-to is Tito's. They got an unbelievable website. Go to Tito's.com, see everything that they're doing, their recipes. They do a lot of charity work with dog charities. I know if you love dogs, Tito's is your big global brand. And everybody likes Tito's mixed with anything great. Tito's, proud partner of our show. Appreciate you. Thank you. Yes, thank you. All right. Doing some business there. All right. So Michael's saying I told everyone I was going to sell my tickets after the Bears lost. Now I'm calm and saying I'll see how the next two games go. So Michael Daniels wants to sell his tickets to opposing fans. I think that's gutless and pathetic. Now, if you sell your tickets permanently and sell them to another Raider fan, I think that would be great. But I don't know why you're coming on. I don't know why you're coming on my platform telling me you're selling your tickets. Like I'm going to say, great, Michael, you're a great fan. $6. It's these fans that are bailing and just soft as shit. I'm going to sell my tickets. I'm not going to go. I'm having a bad day. Then go follow another team, and when they get good, come back. God. What am I dealing with, man? Melting down. Look, if you don't think your investment, if you don't like your investment, yeah, then go sell your tickets to a Raider fan, man. That'd be great. I would love you to do that. All right, we have someone speaking.
Yeah, Patrick Graham right now.
Yeah, we want to do Chip Kelly. We got Kevin Bollinger. Do you have his number? 12:30.
Okay, I'll give him a call right at 12:30.
Yeah, give him a call. Yep.
The only one number I don't have is Lee.
Yep. All right. Lee calls us. I'll have him call us.
Oh, perfect. Then. We're back in 1 minute. As soon as he's around 12:30, I'll give
Yep.
Kevin a call.
Yep.
As soon as I got Chip, I'll pause it and
Yeah.
give you.
We can just have Chip to pause and play him
Right.
at the top of the hour.
Okay.
Hopefully they don't embed it with an ad, right? But
Square app is your one-stop shop.
all right.
24-hour small
Great interview. We are rolling in the chat today.
And ZipZap provides free towing and diagnostics with quality.
Oh, Judge has showed up. Judge showed up in every game. Judge has got a couple of hits in every game, but tonight we need Judge to hit a grand slam. We need something big.
.com. Did you get your bonus bet yet from the William Hill?
Because, again, your baseball team is,
William Hill.
Jared, you're a Royals fan?
You can earn up
Royals
to
Cubs.
$250
Royals Cubs. My wife's a Cubs fan. I'd like my wife to win today. Matter of fact, that's big.
Same
This is a Fred Biletnikoff Hall of Fame golf tournament, which I've emceed for 20 years.
Those player profits. It's just rolled down the
There's plenty of times where Judge looks a lot better than Ohtani. Plenty of times.
Play here in the fifth. Breaking ball. Hits the left field. Hanging it up to red. Christian scored. Yankees lead 3-2.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by PT's, the best happy hour in town, 5 to 7 p.m. and midnight to 2 a.m.
Yankees radio, man, that was a big play. They catch that ball. It's 2-2. Yankees Red Sox clinching game in October. Doesn't get much bigger than that. Both franchises hate each other, and have a long history. And as I put on my backyard brick today, sponsored by Modelo, thank you to Modelo for backyard brick, that, the Yankees owned the Red Sox for close to 100 years. And now over the last 25, the Red Sox have won more games that matter. So this is going to be really interesting tonight. If the Red Sox beat the Yankees tonight in the Bronx, that is like a Russell Crowe movie, a dagger in the final scene, where the hero gets the dagger and it's over. If the Yankees win, I think they'll stabilize. They'll take a breath, lose a game in Toronto, but be back in the next series. And one other topic that I wanted to mention, Jared, you can help with this too. The Dodgers won last night against the Reds, who are like a high school baseball team. And after the Dodgers won, they went into their clubhouse and they tarped all the lockers, put on beer goggles, and sprayed each other with champagne and beer. Who the hell does that? I'm sure my Yankees will do it too. Jared, do you know when it started that we were celebrating every single round of a baseball series by celebrating like it's the World Series?
I'm assuming like the mid 2000s.
Yeah,
that seems about right. Because I remember, is it Josh Hamilton was the reason they had to use like non-alcoholic stuff?
Good one. Yes, and I think it started to happen between the second and third wild card. Used to be one wild card. Then when they went to two, I think the teams that won the second wild card team wanted to jump in there, and they went in there and they started celebrating like they were in high school. I mean, I think they're celebrating so much because it's so hard to win in sports. You want to go back to the olden days when the Raiders in Vegas would have the cigar party when they won? Remember that one? Remember when the Raiders were winning games and they'd have cigars in the locker room? Believe me, I was happy that some guys were lighting up cigars and celebrating a victory, but that didn't go over well throughout Raider Nation, I can tell you that. So, when people are trying to win, they want to celebrate and have fun, but to watch the Dodgers last night, put beer goggles on after beating the Reds. They're playing the Phillies in a couple of days. Save the beer goggles, Dodger fans, for the Phillies. Kevin Bollinger is kind enough to join us, the sports director at Fox 5. And Kevin, big week here for the Raiders. I think Pete Carroll told you and everybody else at the podium he saw some good things, even though it was a loss. We normally don't hear that from coaches around the league.
No, he's a half glass full kind of coach. He's going to look at a lot of the positives, at least publicly, and then deal with the negatives internally with his group. But he did like some of the things, and I think fans maybe like some of the things they saw as well last Sunday against Chicago. but there are still certainly some things that have to be cleaned up. And here we are going into week 5, and there's still a lot of areas that the Raiders know that they can get better at, and they're going to have to if they're going to compete in some of these games.
Yeah, the rushing game, let's start with that. The receiving touchdowns for Ashton Jeanty, and we were both there together to see how he was utilized properly throughout the game in space. I think that's got to be a new wrinkle now to get him the ball in the air on the outside on a screen pass or a dump down and let him do his work.
No question. I mean, he's so good with yards after contact. So if you can get him out in space, a lot of the times early in the season, he was getting hit behind the line of scrimmage when he was running the football, and he didn't kind of get his momentum going. But if you can get him out in space, then that's going to give him an even better opportunity to break some tackles and start making some positive plays. And it's been maybe a little bit more of a feel-out process as to how it's going to work against NFL defenses with his skill set and how to use it properly. I think we got a good indication against Chicago as to what we might see a lot more of from Jeanty, and based on what we saw, that's a great thing for Raider Nation.
Sports director, Fox 5, Kevin Bollinger's kind enough to join us. And then these Max games, it's important to say this because Max, he's going to have good games most of the time, but when he's in this zone, I think if the Raiders were 3-1, and more importantly, 2-2, 2-2 would have just been fine. I think every show on TV would be talking about him being Defensive Player of the Year so far, but it's tough to do that when a team is losing 3 games in a row.
Max Crosby never fails to impress me, just watching everything that he does. And it almost seems like he took it to another level against the Bears last week. I mean, he's always everywhere and kind of has that motor that's always turning, but he created so much havoc, not only during plays, but just everything on the field. It's impactful, and really it's what kept the Raiders in that game. And, when he's worth the price of admission, there are certain players in every sport that you say that is the person that is worth the price of admission to see in person. Max Crosby is that guy.
Special teams has been a problem. Looking back on the blocked field goal, they just didn't have someone out there to block someone coming off the edge. That's kind of inexcusable. I don't expect that to happen again, but that could be the difference. It was the difference between a win and a loss.
And it's unusual because the Raiders special teams have been so good over the last several years. They missed Michael Mayer, obviously, in terms of his special teams play on a lot of that stuff. So if he's able to come back this week, and he was limited in practice yesterday, but, it looks like maybe he could be trending towards playing. That's going to be huge for the special teams. But that certainly has to get better. I mean, you got 2 of the best kickers, best kicker, best punter, 2 of the best in the game. On your special teams unit, they've got to get everything else put together because it's an often overlooked but an extremely vital part of the game.
As you're preparing your content for your broadcast, are you surprised as much as I am about Daniel Jones? I know how good of an athlete he is, but I expect the turnovers to come. I would hope it happened against the Raiders. It hasn't happened much this year, but a few in the last game. They should have beat the Rams. They had a player who celebrated and dropped the ball before the end zone. I mean, they literally could have beat the Rams, who are really good. So they are coming off a loss with a quarterback who historically turns the ball over.
Yeah, and I give a lot of credit to Shane Steichen, the head coach, obviously former UNLV quarterback, who's done a really good job with his offensive coaches of putting him, Daniel Jones, in a position to succeed. And oftentimes that didn't happen with him with the Giants, asking way too much of him and put him in some bad spots. And they've been trying to get him into a position to where, he can just make good foundational plays that's going to move the ball down the field. And, the Colts haven't been the flashiest team in the world, but guess what? They're 3-1 and they should be 4-0.
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor's a really good running back. Did you see enough coming off the Commanders' loss to the game against Chicago to think that the tackling now, especially with Devin White, who's having a nice year, I think this is a really good year for him right out of the gate. They're going to have to tackle well at the linebacker position if they're going to have any chance of slowing Taylor down.
Yeah, because he's got some momentum going right now, and they do want to run the football. That's part of the success in terms of setting Daniel Jones up for success, is being able to run the football and get him in the 2nd and short and 3rd and short, and give him some opportunities there. So I think that stopping the run and getting them into a a 3rd and long situation, that's when you're going to create the Daniel Jones problems, maybe that we saw a little bit more in New York with the Giants. That's going to give the Raiders maybe some chances at some turnovers and try and get that margin flipped around and flip the field for some position for them.
Wrapping it up with Kevin Bollinger from Fox 5. So you're at the podium and you're there after games. I think that Gino's been a 10 out of 10 with leadership, and that's important to me because I know he's going to play better. He hasn't been playing well. But what has it been like when you see his body language or he walks up to the podium and he knows he's got to make that walk and talk about these interceptions and how he's handling all that? What can you share with us about the mindset from what you see of Geno Smith?
Well, with a quarterback, you want a quarterback that's going to continue to be confident, even if he's going through some struggles.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I see out of Geno Smith. He still has that swagger. He knows that he did not have a great game last week, but he also knows that he can work his way through it because he's done that in the past. And he's not changing who he is as a leader on the field just because he had a bad game. And so I think that he's not going to change as a person. And I've seen the same person walk up to that podium after the game on Sunday that we saw walk up to the podium during training camp. And that's what I want in a quarterback, is somebody who's going to kind of not get too high with the highs, not get too low with the lows. That's how you're going to get success at this level. And I think Geno Smith will eventually get to that success with the Raiders.
Last one, Kevin. I don't think we're forgetting anything. I mean, Pete Carroll's got the team in the palm of his hands. It's a good culture. Everybody's playing hard. There's no let up. They just haven't won games. I mean, they're 1-3. Tell me what you think's at stake as the Raiders go on the road to Indianapolis.
Look, it's a bottom line business, right? It's about wins and losses. But, the Raiders, this is the type of game that the Raiders traditionally have gone in and done well and in a lot of cases have won, right?
Mm-hmm. Games
that people aren't expecting them to win. Week 2 in Baltimore last year when nobody gave them a chance and they went in there and got the win. For as rough as it has been in some certain cases throughout the season so far, this seems to be the type of game traditionally that the Raiders come to play and do something big. And I hope to see, what develops with that on Sunday morning in Indianapolis.
Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate your time as always. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, JT.
Yep, Kevin Bollinger. Good to have him on, the sports director for Fox 5. One of our insiders, right? So what are we doing here if you're new to the show? We have about 9, 10, 11 insiders. We rotate every 2 weeks because we don't want to wear them out every week. Ever see some of these guys who are a guest on a show every week? Ooh, that's a lot. I think the only one we have that we do that with is Vinny, because Vinny has partnerships on our station, and we like to promote Vinny's partners because there are partners here too. But we like to put everybody in a 2-week rotation if we can. So, it keeps it fresh, and they all have opinions. But look, there's only so much freshness I can bring to the show. It's about wins. I would love nothing more than to host the post-game show with Lincoln Kennedy on Sunday with a win, because I think we need it all. We need to see this team take a next step. I'd be super confident if Colton Miller wasn't hurt. If Colton Miller was 100%, then what a fluke. Someone falls into his back. If he's healthy, the way he's playing, with the offensive line having a good game, but losing Colton Miller is tough. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat it. I'll believe it when I see it. I'm hoping that they do well. But that is a tough one. That is a tough one there. So Lee Sterling's going to join us next. He was 2-1 last week. He's having a winning season. And he's brought to you by M Resort Spa and Casino. M Resort's got a lot going on, as I tweeted out earlier today. They're the official hotel of the Silver and Black. And they got a big UFC event watch party coming October 4th at 6:30 p.m. on their patio. M Resort, proud partner of our show. Yeah, I'll have Lee call us.
I'm sorry, what time was Cats?
1:30.
Got it.
So Chip speak yet or no?
Yep, he's speaking right now. I'm
All right,
trying
good.
to make sure that it's...
Why don't we play Chip at 1:05?
Done.
Las Vegas Raiders at Allegiant Stadium. Bring your friends, have some fun, but always bet on black. Visit their 10 casinos across the valley. Don't let the game get out of hand. Please bet responsibly. Raider Nation, it's JT. I partnered with Charles Woodson and his Woodson Whiskey.
Oh man, I'm supposed to put
Proven whiskey, the Black Hole, and the Las Vegas Raiders. If it wasn't your game day whiskey, it is now. Raise a bottle at your next tailgate and toast to the silver and black. The limited edition Black Hole bottle is now available at WoodsonWhiskey.com. Use the promo code JTTheBrick at checkout for 15% off. That's WoodsonWhiskey.com, the official whiskey. All right, Fabian, what's happening, man? What's happening, Fabian? Hydrated, JT. Yeah, I'm going to get a hydration break at the top of the hour. I got Modelo's flowing tonight for the Yankee game. Does Chip play calling? Chip's going to have to change the plays, man. With Miller being out, a lot changes. Okay. It's a shot. Things aren't going so well. All right, look for Lee. I texted him the number. He should be calling in. O-line has to step up without Miller. Absolutely, Snow Raider. That's JT for the Black Hole. Kansas City's looking better. We knew they would. Yeah, I don't know. 12 personnel, 2 tight end set, Robert. I'm never a big fan of it. It's hard to make that work, but if they want to run that, they can go ahead. Yeah, Josh makes a good point. I'd like to see Geno run more. I think Geno needs to play more desperate. I'd like to see him run more.
Reading your bills for things to be great. See environments. Stress, grooming challenges, the risk of falling or having mobility issues. If you've answered yes to any of these, the Nevada Assistive Technology Resource Center can help. NATRC is a grant-funded organization offering assistance next.
All right.
Staff ready to discover options and make decisions.
We're probably going to keep this to the top of the hour. We're going to replay an interview with Lincoln Kennedy and Eric Allen, and we got Chip Kelly. So we'll shorten this. We'll shorten this to about another 20 minutes or so.
See today as 455-4454. That's 775-455-4454.
Yeah, Fabian knows if you're going to sell your tickets to drunk F-ups, you could lose your seats.
With the Nevada Broadcasters Association and the station.
All right, we're ready. Lee hasn't called yet. Oh, I'll send you his number. Yeah.
Sports app features in-game parlay.
Yep.
Cash out. Wagering on all major sports. For more information, fantasy participating and locations, visit WilliamHill.us. Must be 21 gambling problem. Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Plumbers, HVAC techs, contractors, and DIYers. McFadden Dale Industrial Hardware has the tools, parts, and supplies to power up project. You're stocked with everything you need. Nice out to cater to your muscle.
All right, I sent you his number. So get it going. Let me get up here.
Pick up Jazz, coming around third. Rojas waving him. Jazz coming down the line. Here's the throw to the plate. He slides. He is in there. He's in there. The Yankees have the lead. It's 4-3 New York.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by Modelo Especial, the new #1 beer in the U.S.
Come on, that Dave Sims Yankee call was great. Great call. Base hit down the line. Chisholm scores from first. Yankees go on to win the game. That was a really emotional game. The Dodgers had a beer league softball game last night. The Dodgers are playing the Reds. Dodgers bullpen is a mess. So if the Dodgers beat the Phillies are really good. They're better than the Dodgers. But the Dodgers have a bigger payroll, and now they're getting healthier. If the Dodgers end up winning, and the Dodgers go out and beat the Phillies, then I think the Dodgers will win the World Series. I really do. I think they will. I think the Phillies are good enough to beat the Dodgers. And then you still have another National League power there, too, whatever's going to happen on the other side. Can you imagine if the Padres get hot? Would you love to see Padres-Dodgers? I know the Dodgers would love to see it, but Petco would be rocking. A big game for the Padres. Huge game. Huge game for the Padres and the Cubs. I'm torn with that game because I love San Diego, lived there for 8 years, but my wife's a Cub fan. And when the Cubs are in, it's just really exciting for all of baseball when they're in. The great Lee Sterling joins us from Paramount Sports. I normally don't talk about your record, but you tweeted it out. Tell everybody what you've done recently there, because you put it out on X.
Yeah, we won 11 straight NFL games, which is tough to do. Everyone knows these games. 75% of them come down in the last 2 minutes, and hit another big max wager in college. One on South Carolina. It's a 40-unit play. We rate our plays from 10 to 50 units, and with that South Carolina win, we're now 73 and 29 lifetime on our 40 to 50 unit plays, and got another one going this weekend. So we're going to try to keep rolling.
ParamountSports.com. Do business with Lee Sterling, my friend. So 2-1 last week with wins on the Chiefs and the Eagles. So close to 3-0 if Drew Lawler didn't choke that game. So we're going to start off with Alabama minus 10.5 Vanderbilt. I don't pay attention to Vandy. That's why we have you here. But Alabama coming off that spot. Is this a good or bad spot for them after beating Georgia?
Well, their quarterback, Diego Pavia, is exciting. He's not going to be playing at the next level. Maybe he can play in the UFL or something like that. But the kid can run and throw the football. He's saying if they play their game, they're going to beat them. He upset Alabama last year, 40-35. It's a 23-point underdog. But the game was at home. And before that game, the last 3 times Alabama squared off against Vanderbilt, they had a 148-3 advantage. Alabama will be ready for this game. Game day is going to be there. Their quarterback, Ty Simpson, talk about all the other guys. Right now, he might be playing better than any quarterback in the country. He's surging. He has 3 receivers. The trio, probably second best only to Ohio State, and that's the weakness of Vanderbilt. They give up 274 passing yards to Utah State last week. So you know what they say, payback is a you-know-what. Roll Tide, Alabama, 41-20.
Lee just gave you Alabama big. ParamountSports.com. Buccaneers, Seahawks. I like this game a lot. Seahawks are good, especially in the secondary when they're healthy there. The Buccaneers win dramatically. Seahawks at home initially getting 1.5 when I saw the early line. It was Buccaneers minus 1.5. Now it's Seahawks minus 3.5. Tell us about the line move and the side you like.
Well, I think that they realized, the public and also the sharps realized that line was too short. So Seattle's had extra time to prepare after beating Arizona last Thursday. Sam Darnold quietly leading the NFL at 9.1 yards per pass attempt. He's completing 70% of his passes this far. He's the number 1 quarterback right now on Pro Football Focus, and different blocking schemes for the Tampa defense. They're going to have to face 2 running backs in Walker and Charbonneau who are healthy, who are tough, who can catch the ball and don't give up here. So I like Seattle at home. This is a long, hard trip for Tampa Bay off some really tough games here. I think this is the right side. Seattle, 27-20.
The first real upset that I loved, I put it on my podcast with Looney. I loved the Jaguars hammering San Francisco because I just thought San Francisco was going through too many injuries. And the fact that the Jaguars beat and mentally beat the Texans, I thought that'd be a big hurdle for them now. Now the Jaguars with that travel come back home. It opened up Jags plus 4.5, now down to plus 3.5. Kansas City a 3.5-point favorite, 3 in the hook. I don't know what you got it at here, but Kansas City really had an explosive game with a Mahomes 4-touchdown performance.
Oh, they look like their old selves here. And give the head coach for Jacksonville credit, Liam Cohen. He understands that you're not going to win shootouts with Trevor Lawrence when he throws the ball 40, 45 times. So what is he trying to do? Have his team play good defense, special teams, and run the football. And so far, they've been successful. The problem here is The Chiefs defense and special teams are better. And now finally with Xavier Worthy back, the offense is in high gear. So I think Trevor Lawrence is going to have to watch himself. If he turns the ball over 2 or more times, they are in trouble here. I think Class wins out. KC 28-20.
All right, I'm a little nervous, but I'm also excited because of the role you've been on. You have your game of the week, Colts, Raiders. I know the Raider juice that you have at times, but you could be on the Colts. I don't know what your players and our audience does. How do they get the game? You always have a nugget.
Yeah.
This is why. And tell everybody why it's your game of the week.
Yeah, there's something here that the public just doesn't see, and even the odds makers. So I've identified through studying it. I have 3 guys on my staff. A couple of these guys have played college and NFL football, anything, and we can find differences that can make the difference in winning and losing. So you want to get the Colts and Raiders game, be one of the first 10 callers. Call 800-400-9741. Give you the game for free. Colts and Raiders on me, 800-400-9741. If you're thinking about getting involved with anyone, this is the biggest weekend in our 32 years. NFL, another big 45-unit play going this weekend. And how about this? The UFC, first ever in the 6 years we've done the UFC, a 40 and a 50-unit max wager on the same card. 7 selections, $57. One place, ParamountSports.com.
Thank you, Lee. Stay hot. Talk to you soon.
Okay.
Yeah, look at that, $57. Look, we all are very transparent on this show. And Jared, I take veiled, that's a word, shots, because I live in Vegas. I've been in radio for 30 years in Vegas. When I listen to gambling shows, air quotes, in Vegas, and I hear people on that I know have no money, I know they don't do this for a living, that like Lee does this for a living. Like, he doesn't have a radio show. He comes on radio shows. And I drive around Vegas and I hear people saying in every coming out of every break, I'm on the Packers. I'm on the Bengals. I'm on the Broncos. I'm on this. No, you're not. If you're betting $5, as a friend once told me, these guys on radio sometimes who work at these air quote gambling networks, they have a secret. They bet $5 on like 30 games. So if they get 10 of them right, they come back on and say, I was on it. I was on the right side. I won the Bears game. And you're like, well, just show your ticket. Did you bet $5 or did you bet 500? And if you bet 500 on the Bears, then show the ticket and I'll believe you. Someday they're going to regulate sports gambling radio. And there's going to be someone who has to monitor what the people say. I want everybody to make a living, but there's too many people cutting the line to get into gambling radio. Look, man, who loves board ops more than me? I live for board ops. That's what I need. I can't do a show without a board op. But if you're a board op Monday to Wednesday and you're hosting a show on Saturday, don't tell me who to bet on. Okay? Don't tell me who to bet on if you're a board op Monday to Friday and then they throw you a Saturday show for a bone and you're telling everybody you're on every game. Someday that will be figured out. Wow. I'm going to get in trouble. Let me get out of here. 702-365-9200. Thanks to the bricklayers. They're fantastic. Next half hour at the bottom of the hour, Johnny Katz with entertainment. And Johnny Katz will come in and tell us what's happening in town, which is really good because he's the king of entertainment in this town. He knows where every concert is, what everybody's doing at every concert, and everything that's going on. So we're really thrilled about that. So he's going to tell you, because in this town, you need people to tell you where to get the tickets from. You know, I think we need to know where do we get the tickets and how do we go to these games. And I think that'll be really cool. So we want to tell you about that coming up here in a little bit. And we also want to tell you about our great friends at La Casa Cigars and Lounge over in Tivoli Village. They are just about ready, just right there for the grand reopening. Mike's doing an unbelievable job there. We'll tell you all about that. If you need a cigar and you need a cocktail and you need live music and you just want to hang out with friends, what a location at La Casa. You'll love it. Right in Tivoli Village, free parking underneath. You go right up there and you're at La Casa. Good night tonight for sports. We got Thursday night football. And you got Yankees, Red Sox. I don't think Mike wants me at La Casa tonight with Yankee games on, unless the chairs are pinned down, unless the chairs are cemented. Yeah, I think I'm going to stay home for that one. Coming up, Eric Allen and I talked to Lincoln Kennedy about the offensive line. I think you're going to want to hear what Lincoln Kennedy had to say. Also, immediately when we come back, we're going to play Chip Kelly's press conference, which I haven't heard yet. What does Chip Kelly got to do to get this offense going?
Wrap up your NFL Sunday with the New England Patriots in Buffalo taking on the Bills.
Got it. Hey, everybody, I'm checking out. We got a little bit of a replay interview coming up here, which is worth listening on radio if you'd like. Be watching the game tonight. There will be a video after the game, win or lose, on X at JT the Brick and YouTube. And that's about it. Appreciate everybody being here. The Bricklayers. We're building a special group here. We're building something special. We are. Hang with me and get more people to subscribe. I'd appreciate it.